You could find every missing ounce of copper buried on Earth tomorrow, and the shortage still hits, because a new mine takes 17 years to build, and the world runs 10 million tons short in 2040. By then we'll need 42 million tons of copper a year, and a brand new study says we're on track to come up a quarter of that short. 17 years, that's the average time from the moment someone discovers the ore to the day the first metal ships. So, the 2040 shortfall is already mathematically mostly baked in. We can't drill our way out of it in time. Let me show you why, who ends up paying for it, and why this is the exact same trap the AI boom keeps walking into. Start with a fact people forget. Copper is the wiring of the modern world, not a metaphor, the literal wiring. Every electric thing you can name runs current through copper, because copper carries electricity better than almost anything else we can afford to use. Your EV has miles of it coiled inside the motor. The power grid is copper. Wind turbines, missiles, submarines. The phone in your hand? Copper. If it moves electrons, it's leaning on this one soft, reddish metal. So, as the world races to electrify everything, we're all reaching into the same bucket at once. And that bucket is draining faster than ever because of a customer that barely existed a few years ago. The AI data center. These giant warehouses of computer chips that train and run AI are copper sponges. A cutting-edge AI data center uses up to 3 times more copper than an old-fashioned server farm because the chips are packed so tightly and run so hot that you need a dense nervous system of copper just to feed them power and haul away the heat. It's the difference between watering a garden and cooling a furnace. You need vastly thicker pipes. Every megawatt of AI computing swallows roughly 30 to 47 tons of copper, and the demand curve is vertical. In the US alone, the electricity to run data centers is projected to nearly triple in 4 years, from about 76 gigawatts in 2026 to 134 by 2030. Copper going into data centers worldwide more than doubles by 2040. Stack AI and defense together, and S&P Global estimates they add 4 million extra tons of demand a year on top of everything else. That's the accelerant poured on a fire already burning. Now, flip to supply, and the whole thing cracks. To get copper, you dig it out of the ground, and digging is slow, in a way software people can barely comprehend. For mines that opened between 2020 and 2023, the average time from discovery to first metal was 17.9 years. First you find the ore, then years of drilling to prove it's real. Then feasibility studies, environmental permits, fights with regulators, building roads and power to the middle of nowhere, raising billions. And only then, digging. In the United States, it averages almost 29 years. In Zambia, 34, the longest on Earth. And the projects aren't lined up ready to go. Of 239 major copper discoveries S&P Global tracked worldwide, only 15 have even reached construction. 121 are still stuck in feasibility studies, drifting. So, hold the 2 clocks side by side. An AI company can decide to build a data center and have it humming in a few quarters. The mine that supplies its copper takes the better part of 2 decades. That's the entire story. The metal isn't vanishing. Demand moves at software speed and supply moves at geology speed. And the gap between those clocks is the crisis. Mine production is set to peak around 33 million tons in 2030 and then flatten, while demand keeps climbing to 42. That fork in the graph is the 10 million ton hole. And here's who gets squeezed because copper isn't spread evenly. Just 6 countries dig up about 2/3 of it. Chile alone produced 5.3 million tons in 2025, nearly a quarter of the world's supply. But mining is only half the chain. After you dig up rock, you have to smelt it, cook the raw ore into pure usable metal. And that step is even more concentrated. China's share of global smelting has gone from about 15% in 2005 to roughly half today. It hosts 12 of the world's 20 biggest smelters. So, copper mined in Chile or the Congo often has to pass through China to become something you can actually wire. Whoever controls that choke point holds a hand on the throat of the electric future. And when supply is tight, that leverage is worth more than the metal itself. Now the honest turn, because if I stopped here, I'd be lying to you. We are not running out of copper, not the atoms. Copper is one of the few materials that's essentially infinitely recyclable. Melt it down, and it's as good as new, no quality lost. Some of the copper in your walls was mined a century ago and has already lived 3 electric lives. And when prices spike, which they have, to record highs through 2025 and 2026, the market fights back. High prices make it worth recycling every scrap, and recycled supply is projected to more than double by 2040. High prices make substitution pay off. Aluminum, cheaper and more abundant, can replace copper in some power lines and lower stakes wiring where you can afford a little less performance. High prices fund better extraction from ore we used to ignore. So, this isn't the apocalypse, nobody's lights go out. But none of those fixes are fast. Recycling can't scale overnight. Aluminum can't go where you truly need copper's conductivity. You're not cooling an AI chip with it. So, what you get isn't a cliff, it's a squeeze. Years of expensive copper, slower build-outs, projects that pencil out only for whoever's richest. And the cost quietly threaded into everything electric you buy. The bottleneck doesn't stop the future, it taxes it. And that's the lesson, the same one hiding under the water story, under the power grid story. Under every place the AI boom slams into the real world. Software scales in weeks. The physical systems it depends on, the water, the wires, the metal in the ground, move on the timescale of decades and mountains and permits. You can raise $1 billion and build a data center by summer. You cannot summon a copper mine in less than 17 years, no matter how much money you throw at it. The bottleneck was never the code. It was always the slow, invisible, physical world underneath. And it doesn't care how fast you're moving.